Shalom, Yasharallah. As always, I'd like to begin by saying I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh-Shai, Bahasham, Ruach HaKodesh, whom I worship. Double honors to my elder apostles, who bring millstone, who taught me this word in sincerity and in truth, and who rule well, and salutations be to the hopeful elect that are out there in the highways, byways, hedges, and gaps, proclaiming the true names of the Father, which is Yahweh, and the Son, Yahweh-Shai. All right? Whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. That's not his name. All right, that's a made up name. Okay. I'm the Bishop Teacher Sakurun, and this is another T.E.O.E.W.A.W.K.I news and prophecy. And there's something that I wanted to touch on, something that they've been talking about lately. Came out, I guess the WEF were speaking about it, and there's something called a cyber pandemic. A cyber pandemic where they're gonna shut down the internet, take pretty much like a blackout, and they're talking about this happening, I believe, this year. Also they're talking about President Trump, okay, Nero. There's rumors out there that he's gonna enforce martial law on the 20th. So these are some of the things I want to go into. So I'm gonna just pull up some articles on it. This is from the World Economic Forum going back to 2021. Let me see. It says protecting critical infrastructure from a cyber pandemic. October 2021. So they have agendas, man. It says cyber attacks on infrastructure services are on the rise in the U.S. and the Public Health Service attack in Ireland. Hackers are exploiting the use of Internet of Things. So this is the narrative that they're going by, which those hackers are controlled and paid for by them, by the WEF, by the elites. Now, I don't have no proof of that, but we know who runs this world, man. Okay, and we know that they use this strategy called problem reaction solution, or Hegelian dialectics. Okay, they create the problem, the people panic, then the same people that created the problem, they come with the solutions. It says hackers are exploiting the use of Internet of Things, IoT, which creates millions of new vulnerability points in critical infrastructure. These are their bullet points. It says we need the public and private sectors to build greater consensus on IoT security standards and build trust in the security across critical infrastructure. This may be the thing to bring in the MOTB, that's the kind of trust they're talking about. They want everyone to trust them. That way they hit everyone, and then boom, now they got everybody. See? Then they flip the script on them. It says we are in the midst of a cyber pandemic. In 2020, the C-19 accelerated a transition towards remote working, and the software being used for these attacks has become easier to execute. Ransomware attacks have risen rapidly and continue to accelerate in 2021. Let's see if I can find some. How to vaccinate your organization against a cyber pandemic. So what they're trying to bring in is the T.E.O.E.W.A.W.K.I in cyber form, you know. It says, this is from Brilliance. What is this? Journal/science.org. It says cyber pandemic, the new cybersecurity risks. It says this came out. When was this written? This article here. These are all old articles. Above it says 2024. I don't know, but it says we are amidst a digital pandemic. It says in 2020, the COVID-19 sped up a change towards remote working, and the product being utilized for these assaults has become more straightforward to execute. Ransomware assaults. It's just too little, I can't see. International Monetary Fund. It says the global cyber threat. Yeah, global, because this is a global thing, right? The NWO, that's their agenda. It says cyber threats to the financial system are growing, and the global community must cooperate to protect it. Now what they could do is shut the whole financial system down using this cyber pandemic, and people are not going to be able to get to their funds. So, you know, that it'll be wise. You know, we know that the Lord got our backs. You know, but you know, we got to be wise. You know, discerning the times, right? That the days are evil. So, you know, you got to be a little, you know, do some wisdom. It'll be good to, you know, start collecting some silver eagles, you know, some silver Morgan, you know, Troy ounces of gold. I mean, of silver. I'm sorry, get silver. You know, because silver is, you know, it's cheaper than gold. But during times like that, they'll have a lot of value, you know. and you could use the silver with other people who collect silver too, and you could you know, you could trade with it, you know. You could do, you know, you could buy things with it, you know. So, you know, it's just another measure to just, you know, just to be ready, you know. Also, it's not wicked if you wanna you know, get some you know, you got a lot of these preppers and anarchist dudes, you know. They promote these stores where they sell like freeze-dried meats and foods and stuff that could last for long periods of time. You know, you know, it's good to get, you know, a little of that stuff. You know, it's just to be aware and just a little bit prepared. That's all. In other words, just be like a you know, we're in the faith and we trust in Yahweh Shai, okay? Of course, but you know, just be have a prepper mentality a little bit. That's all, you know, and learn some survival skills. That's all, you know, because we're gonna be tested. You know, it's all a big test. You know what I'm saying? And you want to be prepared. That's what prepper is. A prepper is someone who prepares themselves for something from a catastrophic event that's going to take place. Okay, that's all, man. I remember during that C.E.O.W.A.W.K.I thing, man. You know, the whole toilet paper crisis thing. You know what I'm saying? People were losing it over toilet paper, man. You know, they rushed the shelves, and then when you went to go get toilet paper, there wasn't none. So that's what I'm saying. You know, stock up on certain things so that you don't be amongst these a-holes, these sheeple, when something does happen. You know, be ready before it happens. That's all I'm saying. It's just wisdom. It says cyber threats to the financial system are growing, and the global community must cooperate to protect it. It says in February 2016, hackers targeted the Central Bank of Bangladesh and exploited vulnerabilities in SWIFT, the global financial system's main electronic payment messaging system. I'm gonna be going more through this subject, you know, possibly throughout the week, because the Spirit was on me like yesterday concerning this thing, you know, the cyber pandemic and all that, and you know, getting into like you know, like just, you know, to prep a little, you know. It's good to know that stuff, because you know, these are the times that we're heading to. So we don't know, you know, what's gonna happen, but we know that they have an agenda, and they're gonna try to roll something out. Okay, they've been talking about it for a long time. Something like the C.E.O.W.A.W.K.I and probably worse, right? So you know, this is why we are in the truth. We are children of the light and not of the darkness. We know what's going on. We are not, right? We are not ignorant of Satan's devices, and these are some of his devices. Okay, a cyber pandemic is one of his devices, and then we have to prepare ourselves, man. That's all. Ultimately, we know that the Lord, you know, has our back, you know. So anyway, with that, man, I'm gonna say shalom. Just stay tuned for the next one. I was trying to get some articles dealing with, you know, dealing with the cyber pandemic and stuff like that. Hopefully throughout the day I can find some good ones and get back into it. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom. You know, keep on watching, man. Stay faithful. All right, because Yahweh Shai is near. So shalom. Keep the faith.